What a job. They had you down a couple of points and you won by a lot. So, it's one of those things that you should be very proud of yourself. You campaigned hard and that was a tremendous victory. Thank you very much. And also Representatives Jim Jordan. Where's Jim? A great wrestler, a really great wrestler. I won't go over the record because the only way you're not great is compared to this guy, perhaps. But he's a warrior in every way, and we appreciate you being here. And Mark Wayne Mullen, thank you very much for being here, and I'm glad your son is doing well and setting records also. So these two guys are great. They're really, really fantastic people. Dan was born and raised in the working-class town of Waterloo, Iowa. His mother said she knew Dan would be a wrestler the day they brought him home from the hospital. Even as an infant, Dan refused to let his back even touch the ground. That's sort of an interesting statement. Probably so. At 4 years old, his parents sent him to the local YMCA where he learned to swim, wrestle, and play football. When he reached high school, Dan decided to commit himself entirely to wrestling. His coach quickly saw his unmatched intensity and gave Dan the keys to the gym so he could come first thing in the morning to practice. At first, Dan was alone, but as he achieved one victory after another, the rest of the team followed his lead. He worked hard, but he was also born with something very special. It's called talent. And talent, you either have it or you don't. During his time in high school, Dan's beloved sister, Diane, toughest time in his life, was murdered. Afterwards, Dan poured even more of his energy into wrestling, and his exceptional success brought happiness and pride to his family, especially in overcoming this incredible heartbreak that they had with what happened to Diane. As a high school wrestler, Dan went 64-0, not losing a single match. And I have to say, Jim Jordan told me I knew all about Dan, but he told me things that are pretty amazing, right, Jim? Pretty amazing. Dan then attended Iowa State, where he secured 2 NCAA wrestling championships, national wrestling championships, 3 Big 8 titles, and became a 3-time All-American. He won 117 consecutive matches and lost only 1. Well, in politics, I won 2, so I'm 2-0, and that's pretty good too. But we'll see how that turns out. After that lone defeat, Dan vowed that it wasn't going to happen again. He couldn't stand the feeling of losing a match. He rededicated himself to mastering the sport and soon adapted his wrestling style to reach new heights of greatness. Sports Illustrated labeled Dan the hardest working athlete in the world by far and detailed his rigorous routine of working out 2 to 3 times a day every single day of the week. They estimated that Dan produced 60 pounds of sweat every 7 days. That's a lot. I'm not sure I want to hear about it, but that's a lot. That's a lot of work. In his pursuit of perfection, Dan suffered multiple injuries. His nose, multiple fingers were broken, and his feet, very tough stuff. He pushed every single muscle to the absolute limit. Nobody's ever done it like him, but his unwavering grit and focus have propelled him forward through all of that adversity, tremendous adversity. Before matches, Dan would repeat the words, cakes, carries, ducks, picks, shucks, sweeps, over and over again. I'll have to ask Dan why. Why, Dan?
Because they're all moves that end the match.
Oh.
And you get your hand raised.
Oh, wow.
So that was going
That's
through
pretty
my
good.
head. I wasn't worried about his moves. I was only worrying about my moves.
Wow. Well, you did whatever it was, you did the right thing. He had only 2 things in mind, scoring and dominating. In the midst of the Cold War, he was selected to represent Team USA at the 1972 Munich Olympics. The leader of the Soviet wrestling team proclaimed that he would search the USSR and find a wrestler that would defeat Dan Gable. That was his big ambition. And they found somebody that was considered one of the greatest anywhere in the world, but they failed. Dan won every match and did not give up a single point. How many matches in the Olympics, Dan?
6.
So you won every match and you didn't give up a point.
None.
And that's a record. It's a record I think that still stands. To do that, did the Russian in the final did not get a point?
Russian did not get a point.
And what did you win that one by?
Only won at 3-0, but,
That's okay. That's pretty good. What do you think, Jim? Have you ever heard of when you go 6 matches and don't give up a point against great talent?
I watched.
You watched it, right?
I watched his final match against.
Nah,
Nebraska.
it's amazing. It's really, to me, that's amazing. Not giving up a single point. He topped